Okay, this is how I make my paper parchment cones. This is just a Wilton's paper parchment that I bought. Let's see, what's 15-inch. I generally like a little bit smaller, but this will work. But how I make them is like this, and then I take my hand like this, right? And then I wrap this around my hand. And then this middle, my hand inside, is my guide hand to make my hole smaller or bigger. And then I close it off. I keep my finger right here to hold it together. And then I pivot my hand around. And then I fill it up and cut whatever size hole that I want. I also want to go over some tips for writing. This is something that I was taught when I started decorating. You draw a spiral on anything, really. And then you take one of your paper parchment cones or tip or whatever you want to use. And you use different degrees, size of holes, and learn how to control the icing coming out of them. The smaller holes are going to be harder to control than the larger holes. I'll just do like a normal size writing hole. And then you practice dropping the line of icing on the spiral. If you can learn how to drop your icing on instead of drawing it on, it really helps with your writing. And so that's how I first started out, learning how to control the amount of icing and the pressure that I needed for writing. I went over it a little in my cheerleader video, but when I start to write, I build my icing up and I pull down. I write at a slant mostly because that's what I like to do, but you don't have to write at a slant. You can write up and down, you know, either way you want to do it. But the first letter of any word that you're going to do, you want to find one that you like and you just want to practice it. My most favorite one I do is just two lines right next to each other, and this is my H, and then my happy is always the same, but I will switch my Y's up. And then my B's, I do all different kinds of B's. My most favorite one is I do my line, see the buildup of the icing and pull it down, and then I love putting the tails on there. And then if I get like that in there, I'll start my I right there. But those are some tips on icing, writing.